Dear Secretary Vilsack.
Dear Secretary Vilsack, I'm Paul Towers, Executive Director, Community Alliance with Family Farmers. From San Diego to San Francisco, Fresno to Sacramento, farmers across the Golden State are growing a wide range of things in the heart of our cities. And the reality of our work has become even more important during the COVID-19 pandemic, where our local food system and our economy has been tested. So it should come as no surprise that urban agriculture is valuable, that there are those that might say that urban farming is not farming, and they're wrong. Urban agriculture can increase access to healthy and nutritious foods, create important green spaces, reduce carbon emissions, create food and farm education for literacy, and provide opportunities to build community. That's why urban agriculture matters. While the numbers are important and statistics bear value, really it's important to hear from the farmers themselves. On behalf of urban farmers in California, we offer this digital letter.
We offer this virtual letter.
My name is Kanno Yisrael, and I'm with the Yisrael Family Urban Farm, and we're located in South Oak Park, Sacramento, California.
My name is Sasha, and I'm the farmer and founder of Farm Lot 59 in Long Beach, California.
My name is Abel Ruiz, and I'm a member farmer of the CRECE cooperative located in Santana, California.
My name is Nelson Hawkins. I am the founder and lead grower of We Grow Urban Farm in West Sacramento.
My name is Moretta Browne, pronouns she, they. I'm currently living in Berkeley, California, also known as Ohlone Occupied Territory. I am co-farming the Berkeley Basket CSA.
Urban agriculture is important because it connects the people who grow the food with the people who actually consume the food. And as a result, it adds to greater resiliency in local communities.
What are the root causes of why convenience stores and fast food is more accessible than nutrient-dense vegetables?
I was seeing the inequalities in my own neighborhood, people not having access to fresh fruits and vegetables, how like the health aspects of how that affected my Black community specifically.
We started growing food just for ourselves, but now we supply people all around our neighborhood. We do markets, local markets.
Our goal is to generate community wealth by generating income through the production of mixed veggies based on principles of solidarity with each other and the earth, but also we run a compost program where we divert many of the waste, like from neighbors, that they bring their compost and we turn it into our fertilizer for our crops.
Since COVID, we have been donating 100% of our produce to the local food bank and also preparing fresh meals, working with one of our chef partners. We serve 222 children every week.
We can give young people employable skills transferable to many occupations, whether it is planning, strategizing, being punctual when they're ready to move on, looking for other jobs later down the line. They have something to put on their resume and they can build from that.
We have the Port of Long Beach here, which is also considered to be the diesel death zone in a lot of areas. And when people come to our farm, they're in a natural environment and can actually take a breath and be surrounded by nature in an otherwise very impacted city.
Especially during times of hardship, during times of the pandemic and the racial uprisings, we have, at least on this block, people that folks can lean on when we're looking at total quality of life beyond nourishing the body, is nourishing the spirit and the mind. I've been able to create these really important bonds with people in my community by being able to feed them in the heart of the city.
Farmers have claimed their land and their spaces as places to grow food and community, and yet there are barriers to success. We believe USDA has an opportunity like none before to invest in urban farmers in our communities.
The idea that if somebody like me from a community that's, called a food desert by the USDA can, starting from his backyard, create a successful urban farm enterprise, then that means that there are younger people who will then start to think about agriculture and farming as a future career.
Not only do we provide food for our community on a free basis, but we also provide training and resources for people that want to start their own backyard farms or gardens. And it's not just farmers, it's marketing, it's distribution, and what it actually means to be farm to table and regenerative agriculture. But the labor cost is huge. So if there was support from the USDA for these training programs, so we would be able to pay a living wage in the city, it would be very appreciated.
It's hard to classify ourselves when the perception of urban agriculture is that it's backyard gardening, especially Berkeley Basket is parceled out across different backyards. Folks can't visualize that urban agriculture is a kind of a pillar in the grand scheme of agriculture for the state and for the country.
The only encounter that we have had with agricultural agency person, that person basically came over to our farm and said, like, you know what, like it's gonna take more time to do that paperwork than the benefits that you will get from our programs. And so we were dismissed for being too small. That was like 2 years ago. And despite of that, like we continued working in the land and developing this project to the point that right now we are scaling up, which we could have done like with a little more support, we could have done it at a much faster pace.
Needing a farm ID is something that will help us gain access to funding that is provided by the USDA. And I just need to know that our operation would be valid enough to get a farm ID to have access to that financing.
The USDA and NRCS are our land partners with them. They're amazing. They want high tunnels everywhere. They want them in the urban environment. And I've been trying to get a second high tunnel, and it's so much work to get the USDA and the city to be able to talk to each other. It's been a year and a half, and I'm still waiting for my city officials to sign off on it. So everything we've done on our own and with the support of the community and not with our local government.
How the USDA could help urban growers is to secure land tenure for the long term, as well as create grant opportunities to create workforce development for the youth.
But also to be able to like create programming where it allows us to be able to team up with other farmers in the region, where we can create or have conversations around building regional infrastructure led by farmers themselves.
I see the focus needing to be on empowering communities from within and having their voices valued and uplifted and heard in the decision-making process.
You know, grants are fine, but they run out and they require a lot of paperwork and that sort of thing. But ongoing subsidies to be able to help us support our labor pool would be very beneficial to our operation.
The challenges that we face revolve around economics, our ability to make these things happen long-term, as well as threats of developers coming in and having a different perspective on using this land.
I know housing is very important, and having some of those spaces reserved for growing food in the city would be brilliant. Some sort of incentive for people who were owners of vacant lots, if they would receive some sort of financial compensation if they were able to turn it into an operation that grew food. If that was something that could be incentivized across the board, not just by county or by city. So I think that starts with incentivizing people who own those vacant lots or just large open spaces to say, hey, instead of developing it, why not have a farm there? Why not grow food there?
From the history of Black enslavement to sharecropping to California's alien land law of 1913 and Japanese internment during World War II, farmers of color were often driven from the land to cities. Then came white flight, the large-scale movement of people of European descent from urban centers to suburbs in the 50s and 60s. And that left many people of color in the cities often without the same access to wealth and services.
The main thing, the challenge that is that there's this stigma around agriculture, especially for Black and brown communities, that relates to the trauma that either has to do with migrant farm working or slavery in general. And so what happens is when we go to the youth and talk to them about this as being a viable career, because, we are in the breadbasket of the United States here in the California Central Valley. And to talk to them about that, they can't even see themselves as an owner of a farm. They can only see themselves as being exploited by that system. And so as a result, they're not connected to specific USDA programs that could actually help them become farmers.
Even though agriculture runs in our veins, we face many challenges, and not having land is one of them, or titles to land. We're dealing with a legacy that is kind of unique to communities of color, of not having that equity or that collateral wealth that could actually like boost us up into a bigger scale operation. To recognize that history is to it would entail to create programming that addresses that historical harm.
So many young people, especially, that are impassioned, that have the drive to replace the aging farming population. But the way that things are set up, it's like everything's stacked against us. The odds are not in our favor at all to build upon what was built before us.
Land prices have continued to surge year after year in California. They push land even more out of reach for many urban farmers, and access to capital remains even more tenuous. And the pandemic has highlighted the need for stable and healthy markets even more, as has the need to invest in public education and apprenticeships. We can say this clearly: urban farming is a public service.
Seeing urban agriculture as on a level playing field as for those who are in production farming, to also know that empowering people to grow food in their backyard in the heart of the city is just as valid. And those folks of us who are doing it definitely need support.
What we're doing is small, but it's a symbol of something bigger. Because if I can touch one person, one young person, and get them to say, you know what, this farming thing is something that I want to do, then that could lead to another commercial farm, an urban farm. It could lead to a whole enterprise. And at the end of the day, we need more farmers. I'm trying to get people who are 10, 11, 12, 16, 17 to say, hey, get into this now while they're young. So by the time they get to my age, they have 100 acres or so.
There's something about a real working farm in the city where people can come. It's not a hobby. It's not something we do on the side. It's real work. And we're training people. We host workshops and classes. And the skills that we're teaching people will be able to serve them in their life journey.
Anything that can be done to give us an advantage or give us a leg up, us being the next generation of farmers, farmers of color, those that have been historically left out, but making sure that the laws and the systems in place can protect us rather than go against us.
So in closing, Secretary Vilsack, what we have is a unique opportunity with COVID, with many of the things that have happened over the last year, where you have an opportunity to use the power of your position to be on the right side of history. Because right now we can go back as far as you want to find out about some of the injustices, but it's going to take somebody in a position of power such as yourself to say, I acknowledge it and we're going to do something about it. And once that happens from the top, then that will start to trickle down to the bottom, but it has to start somewhere, and you're the person that has to start it.
USDA's recent investments in urban agriculture, these grants and new advisory bodies, sure, they're exciting, but we need more. We need land, we need capital, we need marketing support, paid apprenticeships, and more to help uplift our farms and our communities. I hope you can join us, Secretary Vilsack.
With kind regards, from We Grow Urban Farm.
Sincerely, Sasha Kanno.
With gratitude, this is Abel Ruiz.
In solidarity, Kanno, Yisrael.
Sincerely, Browne.
Sincerely, Paul Towers, Executive Director at the Community Alliance with Family Farmers.